Parents hate my boyfriend and make me feel terrible. My boyfriend, 24M, and I, 24F, have been dating for almost a year now. I am extremely happy with him, and he treats me so well. It's been an absolute dream being with him. He's the perfect man, and I can't see my life without him. Our relationship has been amazing. A few weeks into us talking, I had a feeling we would be official, so I told my parents about him and also told them he has a son, 3 months. They were initially stumped and told me they aren't the biggest fans, but they were overall kind about it and said, "It's my life so I can choose." I listened to them and kept it in my mind, but I decided to continue our relationship. After they realized I wasn't ending things with him, they became much more cold and rude to me. They told me they don't understand why I told them if they were going to say they don't approve, and I just decide to continue the relationship. They said they'll never give us their blessing to marry. They'll never have us at events together, that they're mourning the death of their relationship with their daughter, etc. They have also told me I'm straining their marriage. They've sacrificed so much for me to throw it in their face and make rude comments calling me stepmommy in a condescending tone. Initially, I did try my best to have them meet and open a conversation for us to talk about it. I would be open and tell them where I'm going with him, if I'm staying at his place, or where I got my flowers from. He's gotten me flowers every month since we've been dating, hey. But eventually, they told me they don't want to hear about it or see him. So I stopped telling them where I'm going completely. I spend much less time at home because of the tension, silent treatment, or rude behavior. It feels like a lose-lose telling them everything, trying to find a solution, or just leaving them alone. I live with them, and I'm saving up to move out and be fully financially independent. They have already thrown finances in my face, mentioning how they pay my insurance, and I live under their roof, which I agree. So the best thing would to just move out and get rid of one argument they have at least. There is constant tension in the house with them, and whenever we seem okay, it's because I just go straight to work and home. Every other month we seem to argue about all of this, but I've become tired. The arguments are full of harsh remarks and condescending comments about how I make stupid decisions, how I'm ruining the family, and they'll never accept us and never attempt to. They've also said when our family doesn't like someone, they'll outcast them. And that's just how it is. So it's my decision to date him or be part of the family. They then go on to list all the family members they avoid because they don't like them or their partner. My mom also mentions how her personal trauma from having divorced parents will not allow her to accept my relationship or be involved in my life. My parents have an us versus them mentality with the rest of my family and credit their trauma for it. When I have spoken up about how that may not be the healthiest thing and how it makes no sense to love me unconditionally, then do the same to me, I'm just told that's the way our family works. I have tried many times to have a conversation and have been outspoken about how they don't talk to me to actually discuss things. Rather, they just yell at me. I've said I don't feel comfortable at home, considered, or seen as a person, all for it to lead to more yelling, scolding, and bullying. At this point, I know I haven't treated them the best recently because I have built so much resentment for them as well. And I'd rather not. But at the same time, I can't try to be happy in the house knowing their kindness and love feels conditional. Any advice would be appreciated. I love my family dearly, but I want to stand my ground for someone I care about and for my own boundaries. I know they want what they think is best for me, but I can't justify this treatment. Update dash. First off, thank you to everyone who commented and gave me advice. It seemed to have the unanimous support of moving out and going low contact, which was my plan from the beginning, but it gave me some strength as I continue going through this. The day after Thanksgiving, I had an alumni soccer game. That week, we were actually pretty good as a family. My parents and boyfriend watched, but my boyfriend was off to the side, so they didn't see him. He was hesitant to come at first, but he decided during halftime he wanted to watch me play. After the game, I said hi to my family and choked a bit. I actually choked a lot. I thought it would be easier to be blunt and say I'm leaving with him, but I got super anxious about it. As we were walking up the stadium, I told them I was going to stay and hang out with him for a bit, and pointed that he's over there, to the side. My parents were visibly upset and left the stadium while I kept walking to my boyfriend. My boyfriend and I stayed in the stadium for a bit to talk about my game. Then we split off so I could shower and relax at home for a few moments. When I came home, my parents were visibly upset and would not speak to me. I tried to talk about the game a little more, but was not acknowledged, so I figured they were already annoyed with me. Looking back, I should have had more conviction and should not have let them see me be nervous. But I do get very anxious whenever I talk to them. As time goes on, I get a little bit more outspoken, but it's a work in progress. I was frustrated with them and myself, and my aunt, 26F, caught on and went to talk to me in my room. She said my parents were upset I told them on the spot, and I guess during the game they had planned to take me out to lunch, which was not brought up to me at all during our time after the game. She said I should feel bad I abandoned them like that. To be clear, I did mention that there was a possibility he would be there a few days prior to this. They brushed it off, annoyed, but it didn't seem like the end of the world, surprisingly. I felt shitty and just got ready to leave the house. My aunt follows me and tries to talk to me about it. I felt incredibly defeated because growing up with her, I felt she was a sister figure to me. We're only 2 years apart, and she has been telling me how strong I've been going through this. But this conversation, she went completely sideways. She tells me she doesn't think he's a bad guy, but no boy is worth this tension in the family. She goes on to say my parents have never steered me wrong, and they just care about me. I go on to tell her more details about how they talk to me and treat me, and ask her if that's really justified. She says no, but I should put myself in their shoes. I get really upset and tell her everything I have written on my original post, and how objectively it is not okay. She pauses and continues the same excuses of, they're your parents and they just care. They just feel like you're choosing someone over them, etc. It felt like we kept going in circles, of me explaining what I have been experiencing and her justifying it because of how they're feeling. She then goes on to tell me if she sees him in public around my mother, she will not start a conversation or be extra nice to him. They've met a few times before, but she said she has to take her sister's side. I ended up telling her I can't continue the conversation with her and get in my car to leave. I come back later at night, and my parents still aren't speaking to me. Throughout this week, I have barely seen or spoken to them. Luckily, I had a busy work and school schedule, so I wasn't at home much anyways. My dad will utter a hello to me, but my mother ignores me. When I leave the house, they will say goodbye, I love you as well. But anything more than that, no communication. We had all planned to see one of my cousins who was visiting for a few hours, but they left before I could get home in time from work. They will make dinner and sit all together as a family, but don't tell me about it. Then they send my brother to tell me there's food on the counter when they're done. The only time I have exchanged more than a hello and goodbye was when my mother complained I haven't put away a vase yet, which I agreed it was there for like 2 days after she asked me to move it. After I put it away, she comes to me again and says I'm sweeping things under the rug, but she thinks I've been incredibly disrespectful. Today I'm staying over my boyfriend's house, and the anxiety I have saying goodbye and possibly having another argument is killing me again. I feel really stuck with how everything is happening and how I feel. I've been holding a lot of resentment and anger towards my family the past week. And if they bring up the situation again, I know it's just going to be them scolding me, and I ultimately have to sit there and wait until they're done. I don't want a bad relationship with my parents. But as time progresses, I realize I've done a lot to try and find a solution to our situation. They haven't tried once to meet me halfway or come to an agreement about how we can coexist. There are things I could do better in terms of their emotions, but mine have never felt validated, and I'm getting exhausted. I'm writing this fast because I'm in a bit of a rush. But this is what's been happening, haha. Any advice is appreciated, especially advice on how to get more confident communicating and putting my foot down with them. My boyfriend and I talked about it and agree we should keep trying and see if they'll meet him just for before making the decision of going NC. But I don't see how to bounce back from this silent treatment to even regroup. Update 2. Telling toxic parents I will be spending Christmas Eve with BFS family. I have posted on here a bit before explaining my situation with my boyfriend and my parents. But long story short, they hate him and refuse to accept any part of opening up to our relationship in the process of low contact and moving out of their house. So I'm just trying to roll with the punches while I'm living with them. Today, I accepted my BFS family invite to their Christmas Eve party. I 100% want to go, and I'm too excited to spend time with them since they make me feel so welcome and happy. But I know my parents will go ballistic. I have not spent a holiday with a significant other ever in my lifetime. A few have invited me in the past, which I rejected, said I'm not able to because of family. Others have had similar experiences with their families, and we agreed it's easier to go alone and maybe revisit it if we got engaged, hahaha. So not only is this a first, it's also with someone they absolutely despise. I also know me not being at my family Christmas Eve will bring up questions and force my parents to talk about my boyfriend. Unless they lie, lol. I'm planning to spend actual Christmas with my family, but we do celebrate the day before as well, so I know they will make a big deal out of it. I'm already mentally preparing for the storm that's going to come out of this, but any advice on how to prepare for this will be so helpful. And I know I'm an adult, and realistically, I can do these things without feeling scared or guilty. But this thread has helped me so much with my confidence and reassurance that I am okay to do these things and not a terrible person. Pretty much after the holidays, I am also trying to move out ASAP once the right listing comes. I've said this before, but I would rather not have everything blow up more than it has with my parents. I know that the chances of this ending with a calm and respectful conversation is slim to none. I seem to be reaching the top of the hill, and will need all the strength and support as I get to the top and reach a point where I live alone, set boundaries, and can breathe. I'm trying to come up with a game plan for all of this, but it's all so new to me. Update 3. The previous times I have shared on here, I haven't had much to share where I actually made moves to better my situation. Until now. This week, I finally told my parents I am spending Christmas Eve with my boyfriend's family. I knew this news would make tension and hostility at an all-time high, so I waited until all of our family friend celebrations ended. I also timed it so they had a heads up, 3 days before Christmas Eve. But I wouldn't have to deal with weeks of it leading up to the holidays. Not much to my surprise, shit hit the fan. We were already not on real speaking terms, didn't see each other much, and somewhat avoided each other. So, coming into their room asking if we could talk was immediately met with a sassy, "What do you want?" from my mom. I opened with, BFS Name's family invited me to spend Christmas even with them, and I said yes. I wanted to give you guys a heads up since you don't feel blindsided. And I was met with crickets. Definitely saw a few annoyed facial expressions, shrugging and throwing hands up in the air, but no words coming out of their mouths. After a few more awkward moments, I told them I am going to leave and go Christmas shopping, but then they finally opened their mouths to speak. I stood there for about 45 minutes listening to them, but here is a summarized version of the conversation of what they said and how I responded. Our relationship is beyond repair because you constantly lie to us, disrespect us, and dishonor us. The main lie is me just not telling them what I'm doing while I am out. When I told them I keep my plans to myself because they get so hostile and cold about it, I was told that's my issue if I can't handle their opinions. 2 inches. Your whole life you have always wanted to defy us. Is this really what you want to fight for? 3 inches. We don't even care about this boy. We are more concerned that you ruined our relationship and put us beyond repair because you constantly lie to our faces. You could break up with him tomorrow and we would still not like you. 4 inches. Your father and I were going to get divorced last year, to which I immediately told them to not make me an issue in their marriage. They looked at each other and laughed, saying I'm selfish for assuming I'm the reason why they were going to break up. We were constantly arguing, and one of the topics was about how to raise you. 5 inches. You're so selfish and don't even care about being a member of this household. I failed as a mother raising you because you don't do anything in this house. You're so selfish. You should go to therapy because you're so selfish. The main argument for this was when I made food and only cleaned my dishes and left the rest in the sink. My mom works in the living room next to the kitchen, so I usually do as little as possible around her, or else she'll be annoyed I'm distracting her. 6. I hope your child doesn't cause as much hurt as you have caused us. To which my mom said, we're not going to be in that child's life, so who cares? 7. What are you even doing in your life, dude? I mentioned how I'm in grad school, working in the field I study for, and overall enjoying life, but was brushed off. 8. You like this guy so much, you're so infatuated with him, it's weird. 9. Our relationship is a separate issue and not fixable, but while you're here, you need to adhere to the house rules, and if you don't like it, you can leave. I don't like you, I don't want to see you, I don't want to talk to you. 10. We will have house hours and rules that everyone needs to stick to, and if you don't like it, you can leave and be with your new family. There was a lot more name-calling and other points of arguments, but these are the only ones that stuck with me, because the arguments tend to go in circles. The majority of the time, I just repeated, I am not doing anything with bad intentions. I care about them and want to make things work. But, of course, that's not an option to them, and they'd rather treat it like I have pushed them beyond a point of repair. There were a few times I tried to explain they started this by being so hostile and cold, but was not listened to, and it was all about them being victims. I left to go Christmas shopping and enjoyed my day. I talked to my friends and family for support, and stayed at my boyfriend's because I simply just did not want to be in that house. Today, my boyfriend and friends helped me come up with a plan to get out of this house, and we settled on the first week of February to leave whether I find my own apartment or move in with my boyfriend. They are all offering to support me wherever I need. Parents are continuing the silent treatment and tried to convince me not to go to Christmas to see the rest of the family. But I said no. My boyfriend feels really bad. All this turmoil has manifested throughout our year of being together, and is really hopeful that maybe they're just scared of letting me go rather than being this nasty naturally. He bought my family presents and wants to give them to everyone when he picks me up for the party, as well as talk to them and see if he can come to terms with my parents. I told him they may be nasty to him or ignore us, and he said he just wants to try before I 100% set a boundary for them to be low contact, no contact. I thought this would be much scarier than it is, because I expected all the yelling, name-calling, and hostility. But honestly, I felt so relieved once I left their room that I made it clear I am making my own decision and choosing a place that is more welcoming. I am also feeling excitement knowing that I sat down and created a plan to stick to. Next time I update, I hope to say I am out of this house and living my best life. Happy holidays, everyone.